The ship was silent. A giant alien prison ship drifted slowly through the endless dark of space. Its metal walls were old, its engines weak, but its cages were strong. Hundreds of prisoners filled the cells. They were from many different worlds, many different species. Most of them had given up hope long ago. The guards walked the halls with cold faces. Their heavy boots echoed against the metal floor. To them, the prisoners were not living beings. They were just shadows in cages. But on this night, in the deepest corner of the ship, something strange happened. A sound began to rise. It was soft, weak, almost broken, a cry. A voice of someone in pain. Most did not hear it. The alien guards passed by without turning their heads. Even the prisoners seemed deaf to it. The sound was not for them. Only one man heard it. His name was Rain. He was a human soldier, captured in battle and thrown into this prison ship months ago. His spirit was strong, but even strong men grow tired in chains. He often sat in silence, thinking of Earth, thinking of home. But tonight, his thoughts broke apart when that cry touched his mind. At first, he thought it was his imagination. The voice was not like normal sound. It was inside his head. It felt close, yet far. Weak, yet sharp. Help, please, help me. Rain stood up. His hands shook. He looked around. The other prisoners lay still, sleeping or staring at the walls. None reacted. None had heard it. The cry came again. It pulled at him like an invisible hand, guiding his steps. He pressed against the bars of his cage, peering down the hall. The voice grew stronger. Please, someone. Hear me. Rain's heart beat faster. He whispered to himself, "Who are you?" But the answer came back without delay. I am here. I am trapped. His blood turned cold. The voice was real. Rain knew it was dangerous to move at night. Guards were always watching. But something inside him refused to ignore the sound. He had fought many battles, seen many strange things, but this was different. This was not a trap or a trick of the mind. This was a call, and it was meant for him. When the guards passed, Rain quickly slipped out of his cell. He had studied the lock for weeks and knew how to push it open with a small piece of wire he had hidden in his boot. The door creaked slightly, but no one noticed. He moved silently, step by step, following the cry through the cold corridors. His heart pounded with every sound. The voice grew clearer now. It was not just crying. It was begging, "Please, help me." Before they come back, Rain turned a corner and froze. At the end of the hallway stood a cage unlike the others. It was smaller, round, and covered in glowing red symbols. Strange chains hung from the bars. The air around it felt heavy, almost alive. Inside the cage sat a girl. She was not human. Her skin glowed faint blue under the dim lights. Her hair floated gently as if moved by unseen wind. Around her wrists and ankles were thick metal cuffs, connected to the cage with chains that pulsed like veins. Her eyes lifted and locked onto Rain. They shone bright silver, filled with fear but also hope. You can hear me?" She whispered, though her lips barely moved. Rain's chest tightened. "Yes." "I hear you," he answered, almost without thinking. Her face lit with a faint smile. "You are human. Only you can hear me. Please, free me." Rain looked around. The hall was empty, but he felt eyes on him. His instincts told him the guards would return soon. He stepped closer to the cage. The strange symbols glowed brighter, as if warning him not to touch. He reached out but stopped just before his fingers met the bars. "What is this place? Why are you chained here?" he asked. The girl lowered her head. "They fear me. They hide me. If I die here, something terrible will happen. Not only to me, but to you, to all. Rain felt his body shiver. He wanted to ask more, but the voice inside his head grew louder, faster, urgent. Please. No more time. Free me. Before they come back, the sound of footsteps echoed in the distance. Guards Rain's breath caught in his throat. If they found him here, he would be executed on the spot. Yet something about the girl's voice, her eyes, the strange way only he could hear her hit all felt like destiny. He had been a soldier all his life. He had followed orders, fought wars, carried out missions. But now, in this dark prison ship, he faced a choice he had never imagined. Ignore her, return to his cell, and stay safe. Or trust her, risk everything, and open the cage. The footsteps grew louder. Shadows stretched across the walls. Rain's hands shook as he placed them on the bars. He whispered softly, "Why only me? Why can I hear you?" Her silver eyes met his. "Because you are human, and humans are different." The sound of boots drew closer. Any second now, the guards would turn the corner. Rain's heart pounded. His mind screamed for an answer. The girl's voice rang in his head, stronger than ever. "You are the only one who can save me." And in that moment, Rain knew his life was no longer just his own. Rain's fingers trembled as they touched the bars of the strange cage. The metal was cold, yet it felt alive like a pulse under his skin. The glowing red symbols shifted and twisted as if they were watching him. He quickly pulled his hand back, his breath sharp in his chest. The girl inside the cage lowered her head, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Do not touch it for too long," she whispered. "The cage feels your will. If you are weak, it will break you." Rain stared, unsure if he had truly heard her words with his ears or only in his mind. Everything about her was unreal. Her skin glowed with that soft blue light. Her hair moved as if carried by water. And her chains pulsed with energy like veins filled with fire. He swallowed hard. "What are you? Why are you here?" The girl looked up slowly. "I am not what they told you I am. To the guards, I am a monster. To the prisoners, I am a curse. That is why no one can see me, no one can hear me. They walk past as if I do not exist." Rain frowned. He thought of the guards who had just checked this hall. They had looked straight at the cage but saw nothing. His stomach twisted. She was telling the truth. "Then why me?" he asked. His voice was low, cautious. "Because you are human," she said simply. Her voice echoed in his head, warm yet heavy. "Only humans can hear my cry. Only humans can break the cage." Rain felt his chest tighten. This was impossible. He was no savior. He was a soldier, a prisoner, a man trapped like all the rest. And yet, something deep inside him stirred. Something told him she was right. The girl leaned forward, her chains rattling as if alive. "They captured me because they fear me. But they do not understand. If I die here, this ship will awaken. It is not only a prison, it is alive. It is waiting." Her words sent a chill down Rain's spine. He glanced around the hall. The air itself seemed thicker, heavier. The walls hummed faintly like a heartbeat. Could it be true? Could this ship really be alive? Before he could ask, the girl's voice grew urgent. "Listen to me, Rain. The cage is old. It was not made by the guards. It was made long before them, by those who wanted to hide me. If you break even one chain, the others will weaken. But the symbols, they will fight you. They will know your mind." Rain's jaw tightened. "And if I fail?" "Then the cage will take you instead," she whispered. His breath caught. He was standing at the edge of something he could not fully understand. Yet his soldier's instincts told him this moment was not chance. It was choice. The sound of boots echoed again in the distance. The guards were returning. He had little time. Rain stepped closer. The red symbols shifted, glowing brighter as if sensing his approach. His reflection shimmered across the bars. But the reflection was not his on it, was twisted, broken. As if the cage wanted to show him his fears. You must not let it inside you, the girl warned. The cage feeds on weakness. Be strong, or it will consume you. Rain clenched his fists. He thought of Earth, of the battles he had fought, of the men he had lost. He had faced fire, bullets, and death. He would not be broken by a cage. He pressed his hand against the bars again. The metal burned against his skin, but he held firm. His vision blurred. Shadows whispered at the edge of his mind. He heard voices his past, his regrets, his failures. The cage was digging inside him. Rain. The girl's voice cut through the noise. Focus. Remember who you are. His teeth ground together. I am human, he growled, and with those words, the symbols flickered. For a brief second, they dimmed, as if afraid of him. The girl's silver eyes widened. Yes, you are different. That is why they fear your kind. Rain pulled his hand back, panting. The glow returned stronger, but he had seen at the weakness. The moment when the cage trembled. Before he could act again, the footsteps grew louder. Guards were only seconds away. Rain looked at the girl. Her eyes burned with desperation. Please, she whispered. If they come, they will hurt me again. They will make the chains tighter. I cannot survive another cycle. Rain's mind raced. He had two choices. Try to break the cage now and risk being caught. Or hide and lose the chance to save her. The girl leaned close to the bars, her voice like a blade in his head. You are the first in 1,000 years to stand here. If you leave me now, you will never forgive yourself. The guard's shadows stretched across the wall. Their voices barked orders in a language Rain could not understand. His hand hovered near the bars. Sweat ran down his face. His heart thundered. Then the girl whispered one last thing. This cage was not built to hold me. It was built to wait for you. Rain's eyes widened. His breath froze. The guards marched past the hallway, their boots striking the floor like drums. Their eyes swept the cages, their weapons ready. But when they reached the forbidden cage, they did not stop. To them, it was empty. They could not see the girl, could not hear her chains. They walked on, leaving only silence behind. Rain pressed himself against the wall, holding his breath until the sound of boots faded away. His heart was still racing. He had been seconds away from discovery. Slowly, he turned back to the cage. The girl's silver eyes were fixed on him. Her lips barely moved, but her voice filled his head. You see now, they cannot find me. I do not exist for them. Rain's fists tightened. Why? What are you really? Her head lowered. For a moment, she was silent, as if afraid to answer. Then her words came like a whisper of wind. I am the last of my kind. They call us the Ellerin. Once, we lived free under our twin suns. But the war came. The machines burned our skies. My people were chained. Our voices silenced. I am all that remains. Rain felt a chill spread across his skin. He had fought wars. He had seen worlds destroyed. But something about her story cut deeper. There was grief in her voice that no lie could carry. She lifted her eyes, glowing like silver fire. And now, if I die here, the ship will wake. It will not stop until all are consumed. Rain stepped back. What do you mean? This ship is already alive, isn't it? I felt it. Her chains rattled as if they had a will of their own. The cage pulsed with red light. Alive, yes, but not fully. Right now, it sleeps. It watches, it listens, but it waits. My blood is its key. My death will break its silence. Rain's mouth went dry. He thought of the humming walls, the whispers in his head when he touched the bars. If this ship was a weapon, then every soul inside it was nothing but fuel, he whispered. So they keep you alive only to keep it asleep. The girl nodded. Her voice was soft but heavy, like thunder hiding in the clouds. Yes, but the chains grow tighter. Each cycle they drain me. I do not know how much longer I can survive. If the ship wakes, it will not just destroy us. It will reach beyond these stars. It will hunt. Rain stared at her, torn between belief and fear. Part of him screamed that this was madness, that no ship could think, no ship could hunger. But another part of him, the part that had felt the cage probe his mind, knew she was telling the truth. He stepped closer. Why only me? Why am I the only one who can hear you? Her silver gaze locked onto his. Because you are human. Do you not know what you are? Rain frowned. I'm just a soldier. A prisoner. She shook her head slowly. No, you are something more. Humans carry what others cannot. You resist control. You resist silence. That is why the cage feared you. That is why I called for you. No other would have answered. Rain's stomach twisted. He had never thought of humans as special. On Earth, they were just another species fighting for survival. But here, in the endless dark of alien space, he was beginning to wonder if humanity was something different after all. The girl leaned closer, her chains glowing with faint light. Rain, you must decide. Free me, and I will guide you. Leave me, and the ship will one day awaken without warning. Then it will be too late. He looked down at his hands. They were scarred from battles, from years of war. He had lost comrades, lost faith, but he had never walked away from someone begging for help. Still, freeing her was not simple. The cage was alive. The symbols were dangerous. If he failed, it would kill him. The girl's voice softened, almost like a plea. You do not need to believe me. Just believe your own heart. Did you not feel it? When you touched the bars, the cage feared you. It knows what you are. Rain remembered the flicker of the symbols when he had pressed his hand against them. The brief moment when the cage had dimmed, like a beast, drawing back. He clenched his jaw. Before he could speak, the ship itself seemed to shudder. The walls trembled slightly, a low hum rolling through the corridor. The lights flickered. Rain looked around, alarmed. The girl's eyes widened. It feels you near me. It is waking. A deep voice rumbled through the metal halls, not from any guard, but from the ship itself. Human, step away. Rain froze. His blood ran cold. The ship was speaking directly into his mind. The girl's chains tightened, glowing brighter as if the ship was trying to crush her. She screamed, her voice echoing like a blade. Rain, do not listen. If you leave me, all is lost. Rain's body shook. On one side, the ship's voice commanded him to obey. On the other, the girl's desperate plea tore through his chest. He stood between two powers, one of steel and shadow, the other of hope and fear, and in that moment, Rain realized the truth. This was not only about her survival. It was about his own. It was about humanity itself. The warning was clear. If he walked away, the galaxy would burn. The corridor was silent again, but Rain's mind was not. The echo of the ship's voice still rang in his head, deep and cold. Human, step away. He stared at the cage. The girl knelt inside, her silver eyes glowing faint, her chains wrapped tight around her body as if they were alive. The red symbols pulsed like angry eyes, daring him to come closer. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. He had faced death before, but never a choice like this. The girl whispered in his mind, her voice soft but sharp, like broken glass. "Rain, you cannot trust the ship. It lies, it wants me gone, and when I am gone, it will wake." Rain clenched his fists. "Why me? Why should I risk my life for you? I don't even know who you really are." Her gaze did not break. "You already know the answer. You heard my cry when no one else could. You touched the cage and it trembled. You are not here by chance. You are here because it was always meant to be you." Rain turned away, pressing a hand to his head. His thoughts spun like storm winds. Was this fate or madness? He looked at the other prisoners down the corridor. Most were silent, lying in their cells with empty eyes. They had given up. None of them had heard her. None of them had seen the cage. Only him, and then he remembered something. Back on Earth, when he was still a soldier. His commander had once told him, the hardest battles are not fought with weapons. Rain, they're fought inside your own heart. This felt like one of those battles. The girl's voice returned, gentler now. "If you free me, you will not be alone. I will guide you. I will show you the truth about this ship. And about yourself." Rain's jaw tightened. The truth. He wanted it, but he feared it too. Suddenly, the air shifted. The walls hummed louder. The ship's voice rolled through the hall again, colder, heavier. "Human, leave, or be erased." The floor trembled under his boots. The lights flickered. Chains around the cage rattled like snakes. The girl cried out, her body jerking as if invisible hands were crushing her. "Rain, do not leave me. This is its trick. It wants you to fear." Her scream pierced his chest. He took a step forward, but the ship's voice thundered louder. "If you open the cage, you will die. If you walk away, you live." Rain froze. Two voices pulled at him, one promising safety, the other begging for hope. He closed his eyes, his breath ragged. For a moment, he thought of home. Earth's sky. The laughter of people he had lost. He thought of freedom. He thought of what it meant to be human. Humans did not run from cries for help. Humans did not obey fear. He opened his eyes. The girl was staring at him, silver tears sliding down her glowing face. "Please, choose me." Rain stepped forward. "I already did." His hands slammed against the bars. The symbols flared bright, burning like fire. His body shook. A storm of voices filled his mind, his regrets, his failures, his nightmares. He saw battlefields drenched in blood, faces of comrades he could not save. The cage was trying to break him. "Rain?" The girl shouted in his mind. "Do not give in. The cage feeds on pain. Show it your strength." Rain roared, forcing himself to push harder against the burning metal. His skin blistered, but his will did not break. He was not fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for her, and then crack. One of the chains snapped. The red symbols dimmed, flickering as if wounded. The girl gasped. "Yes, again, Rain. Break the rest." But the ship screamed. A deep rumble shook the hall, rattling every cage. Prisoners woke in terror, shouting, clutching their heads. The voice of the ship thundered like a storm. "Human, stop." Rain's vision blurred, but he pushed again. His hands bled against the bars. His muscles screamed, but another chain cracked. Then shattered. The girl's eyes glowed brighter, her voice flooding his mind with hope. "You are doing it. Only you can." Rain gritted his teeth, ready to break the last chain, but then the floor split open. From the crack rose a swarm of machines, metallic creatures with glowing red eyes. They crawled along the walls and ceiling, their limbs sharp like blades. The ship had unleashed its guardians. Rain stumbled back, breathing hard. The girl's voice turned sharp with panic. Rain, if they reach me, they will seal the cage forever. The machines screeched, closing in fast. Their claws clicked, their eyes blazing. Rain's heart thundered. He had seconds to act. His choice was clear. Either fight the machines and finish freeing her, or run. Save himself and leave her to the cage. The girl's silver eyes locked onto his. Her voice was a whisper that cut through all fear. You are human. Show me what that means. Rain tightened his fists, blood dripping from his palms. His body ached, his mind screamed, but his choice was already made. He would fight. The swarm of machines hissed as they crawled across the walls. Their red eyes glowed like burning coals, their razor claws clicking in rhythm with the hum of the ship. The corridor filled with a sound that was half metal, half alive, like insects bred from steel. Rain stepped back, his chest heaving, sweat dripping down his face. His hands still burned from the cage, blood smearing across his palms. Two of the chains had snapped, but one still bound the alien girl. Her silver eyes locked on him, desperate. Rain, do not stop now. Her voice cut into his mind, sharp and urgent. They come for me. If they touch the cage, it will seal forever. Rain's heart hammered. He had no weapons, no armor, just his bare fists, his will, and the strange fearlessness burning inside him. He clenched his jaw. The first machine leaped, its claws outstretched. Rain ducked low, rolling aside as the creature slammed into the bars of the cage. Sparks exploded, the red symbols flashing like fire. The girl screamed as the chains tightened around her. Rain spun, snatched a broken metal pipe from the floor, and swung hard. The pipe smashed into the machine's head, cracking its glowing eye. The creature screeched, its body twitching before collapsing into sparks and smoke. Human strength, the girl whispered, almost in awe. Even unarmed, you break them. But there was no time to celebrate. 5 more crawled from the crack, their limbs scraping against the walls, their red eyes fixed on him. Rain's breath came fast, but his spirit did not falter. He had fought armies before. Machines were no different. One lunged, claws flashing. Rain sidestepped and drove the pipe straight through its core. It screeched, convulsed, then fell dead. Another jumped from above Rain, swung upward, shattering its eye midair. The girl's chains rattled. Rain, you must finish it. Break the last chain. I can't with these things swarming me. He shouted, slamming his fist into another machine's face. Her voice filled his head, urgent but guiding. Then use me. I can help you. Rain turned toward her, panting. How? Touch my chain, she whispered, her silver eyes blazing. Let me give you my strength. Together, we can fight. Rain hesitated. If the cage fed on weakness, what would it do if he let her inside his mind? But another wave of machines was coming, their claws scraping sparks from the walls. He had no choice. He dropped the broken pipe, stepped to the bars, and pressed his bleeding hand against the glowing chain. At once, a surge of energy roared through him. His vision flashed white. The girl's voice filled him completely, not as a whisper, but as thunder. Fight as one with me. Rain gasped. His muscles felt stronger, his veins burning with light. His hands glowed faint blue, the same light as her skin. The machines froze, sensing the change. Rain grinned, his teeth bared. Let's finish this, he charged. With a roar, he tore through the swarm. His glowing fists crushed steel, his kicks shattered claws. The machines screeched and fell, sparks raining across the corridor. For the first time, Rain felt unstoppable, more than human. The girl's voice echoed inside him, calm and guiding. The last chain. Now, Rain turned back to the cage. The remaining chain pulsed bright red, resisting. He grabbed it with both glowing hands, ignoring the burn as it tried to invade his mind. The cage showed him visions, birth burning, his friends dying, his body broken. But now he was not alone. The girl's voice rang like a bell inside him. Do not fear. I carry your pain with you. Rain roared, pulling with all his strength. The chain cracked, sparks exploding like fire. The cymbals screamed, twisting violently, and then the final chain broke. The cage groaned as if alive, its cymbals flickering, fading, dying. The air shook as the girl's bonds fell away, the cuffs breaking like glass. She stumbled forward, her glowing hair flowing, her silver eyes blazing brighter than ever. For the first time, she was free. Rain collapsed to one knee, panting, his hands smoking from the burn. The machines around them lay silent, broken. The girl stepped out of the cage. She stood tall, her blue skin glowing against the dim corridor. Her gaze fell on Rain, and for a moment, her expression softened. You did it, she whispered. You freed me? Rain looked up, his chest still heaving. Now what? Before she could answer, the ship itself screamed. A deep, endless roar filled the halls, shaking the walls, rattling every cage. Prisoners shouted in fear, clutching their heads. The lights turned blood red, alarms blaring. The girl's face grew grim. It knows. The ship feels me free. Rain forced himself to stand. Then we need to move. Fast, she nodded, her silver eyes glowing like fire. Follow me. There are hidden tunnels. I know the way. She reached out her hand to him. For a second, Rain hesitated. But then, without question, he took it. The moment their hands touched, a surge of energy connected them to lives. Two worlds, one bond. Together, they ran into the dark. As the ship's voice boomed like thunder, Human, you have awakened what you cannot. Control the corridor shook as if the ship itself had awakened from a nightmare. Red lights flashed across the walls, alarms screamed, and the floor vibrated with a deep pulse that felt like the beating of a giant heart. Rain ran, his boots slamming against the metal, his breath heavy in his chest. Beside him, the alien girl moved with strange grace, her silver eyes glowing like lanterns in the dark. Behind them, the machines stirred again. From cracks in the floor and ceiling, more crawled out, hundreds of them, their claws scraping, their red eyes burning. The ship's voice boomed, not only in Rain's ears, but in his bones. You should not have freed her. Now you will both be consumed. Rain clenched his fists as he ran. It talks too much, he muttered. The girl's voice brushed against his mind, calm but urgent. The ship is alive. It sees us. It hears us. We cannot fight it. Here, we must reach the lower tunnels. They turned a corner, racing past rows of silent prisoners. Many clung to their cages, crying out in confusion. Others stared with hollow eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. The forbidden cage broken, the silver-eyed girl running free. Who is she? Some whispered. Is this the end? Others muttered in fear, but there was no time to answer. The machines surged forward, crawling over cages, tearing metal apart as they chased. Their screeches cut through the alarms like blades. Rain felt his body ache, the power from the girl still burning faintly in his veins. His fists glowed dim blue, but weaker now. He could not fight an endless swarm. Not yet. They reached a sealed door at the end of the hall. The girl pressed her glowing hand against it, whispering in her strange language. The symbols carved into the door flared and vanished, the metal sliding open to reveal a hidden passage. Rain blinked. You had this all along. Her eyes flicked to him, sharp and urgent. Would you have believed me before? He almost laughed, but the screeches behind them killed the thought. They dove into the tunnel. The door ceiling shut behind them. The passage was narrow, the walls curved, glowing faint with veins of red light. It felt less like metal and more like flesh. The air was heavy, damp, alive. Rain ran his hand across the wall. It was warm. It pulsed under his fingers. His stomach twisted. This isn't just a ship. It's a body. The girl's voice was grim. Yes, it was built long ago, not as a machine, but as a living weapon. And now it is waking. A deep rumble shook the tunnel. The walls throbbed, squeezing inward as if trying to crush them. Move! Rain shouted. They sprinted through as the tunnel closed behind them. The walls grinding like jaws. The girl glanced back, her silver eyes glowing brighter. It wants to trap us. It is changing itself. As if to prove her words, the floor split open ahead of them, forming a pit of glowing red energy. The air burned with heat, the smell of iron thick. Rain skidded to a stop. Great! Now what? The girl's gaze locked on his. Trust me. Before he could argue, she gripped his hand and leaped. For a heartbeat, they were falling into fire. Then her body glowed bright, a burst of silver light wrapping around them like a shield. They hit the other side of the pit, rolling hard but alive. Rain groaned, clutching his side. Next time, warn me. Her lips curved into the smallest smile. You chose to hold my hand. Before Rain could answer, the walls behind them split open again. From the cracks poured more machines, their screeches filling the tunnel. The girl's face hardened. We cannot outrun them forever. We need to reach the heart. Rain frowned. The heart? What is that? She looked at him, her eyes glowing like fire. The core of the ship. It's mind. If we reach it, I can weaken it. Without the heart, the swarm will fall. Rain's stomach tightened. Every soldier knew that to strike the heart of an enemy was also to risk being consumed by it. But he had no better plan. The tunnel shook violently. The walls twisted, forming sharp spikes that shot out toward them. Rain shoved the girl aside, a spike grazing his arm and slicing blood. He gritted his teeth, ignoring the pain. The ship's voice thundered. You cannot escape me. You are inside me. You are mine. Rain roared back, slamming his glowing fist into the nearest wall. The impact sent cracks racing across it, the ship groaning in pain. For the first time, the living walls pulled back. The girl's eyes widened. Rain, you can hurt it. He smirked, blood dripping from his arm. Guess humans aren't so weak after all. The machine screeched, closing in fast. The tunnel twisted again, shifting like a snake hen. The tunnels narrowed as rain, and the girl pushed forward, their steps echoing against walls that throbbed like veins. The deeper they went, the hotter the air became. The glow of red light painted everything like fire. The ship was no longer just a vessel, it felt like the inside of a living beast. The girl's hand glowed faint silver as she led the way. Her voice in Rain's mind. We are close. The heart is near. Rain wiped blood from his arm, his fists still burning faint blue. His body ached, but his spirit only grew sharper. Good. Let's end this. Behind them, the screeching of the machines had grown distant. The swarm no longer chased with blind rage. Instead, silence pressed around them, heavy and unnatural. It was the silence of something waiting at last. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Rain froze. Before him stood the heart of the ship, a giant sphere pulsing with blood-red light, suspended by thick black veins that stretched across the chamber like roots of a monstrous tree. Every pulse of the sphere made the walls shake, sending ripples through the floor. Rain's stomach tightened. It wasn't just an engine. It was alive. The girl stepped forward, her silver eyes reflecting the glow. This is it. The mind, the core. Its voice comes from here, and as if answering, the sphere pulsed brighter. A deep rumble filled the chamber, the ship's voice booming all around. Human, you were warned. You break my chains, you steal my prisoner. Now you will see the cost. From the veins hanging around the chamber, shapes began to form, giant armored figures of living steel. Taller than Rain, their bodies glowing with the same red symbols as the cage. These were not the small, crawling machines from before. These were guardians. Rain's fists clenched. Always more monsters. The girl looked at him, her voice sharp but steady. We cannot fight them all. You must strike the heart while I hold them back. Rain shook his head. You'll be torn apart. Her silver eyes burned. I survived chains for 1,000 years. I can survive this. But if we do nothing, none of us will live. Rain hesitated only a moment. Then he nodded. Fine. We end it here. The guardians roared and charged. The girl raised her hands, silver light bursting from her body. The chains that once bound her now became weapons of light, lashing out and striking the guardians, pushing them back. Sparks filled the air, metal screeched against energy. Rain ran straight toward the heart. Each step shook the floor, each pulse from the sphere pounding against his chest like a drum. His fists glowed brighter, the girl's energy flowing through him. The sphere's voice filled his mind. Human, look inside yourself. Do you think you are savior? You are fuel. Nothing more. Vision slammed into his head, earth burning, his people enslaved, himself chained, like the girl had been. The sphere was trying to break him, to show him a future of despair. Rain growled through clenched teeth. I've seen worse nightmares. You don't scare me. He leaped onto the platform beneath the sphere, raising his glowing fist. The heat burned his skin, but he did not stop. The girl's voice filled his mind. Now, Rain, strike with everything you are. He roared, slamming his fist into the heart. The chamber exploded with light. The sphere screamed, not with sound, but with pure rage inside their heads. The guardians convulsed, their red symbols flickering. The girl screamed too, silver light bursting from her body. Her chains of light whipped faster, tearing the guardians apart one by one. Rain struck again, his fist cracking the sphere's surface. Red liquid spilled like blood, sizzling on the floor. Human. The ship's voice howled. You cannot kill me. You are too small, too weak. Rain bared his teeth, his fist glowing brighter than ever. Maybe I'm small, maybe I'm weak, but I'm human, and humans don't quit. With a final roar, he drove both fists into the sphere. The heart shattered. A shockwave ripped through the chamber, throwing Rain to the ground. The guardians screamed and collapsed into dust. The veins snapped, the walls cracked, and the entire ship shook like a dying beast. The girl fell to her knees, her silver light dimming. Rain crawled to her side, grabbing her arm. You alive? She opened her eyes slowly, her voice soft. Yes. But the ship is dying. The chamber crumbled around them, fire and smoke pouring from the broken heart. The screams of prisoners echoed through the halls. The ship's voice weakened, fading into a whisper. Human, this is not the end. Then silence. Rain pulled the girl up. We have to move. Now they've stumbled out of the collapsing chamber, the tunnels breaking behind them. Flames burst through the walls, the floor splitting into pits of fire. The girl leaned against him, her body weak, but her eyes still glowing faint silver. You destroyed its heart. But the ship's body will fall. We must escape, before it drags us with it. Rain tightened his grip on her hand. Then we run. As the prison ship burned from within, Rain and the last of the Ellerin ran through its dying veins, chased by falling steel and fire. The cries of prisoners filled the air. The chaos of a world ending. But even in the storm of destruction, the girl's voice whispered in Rain's mind, "You are not just human. You are hope." Rain's eyes narrowed. He didn't know if they would survive the fall of the ship. He didn't know what waited beyond the fire. But one thing was clear. He was no longer just a soldier. No longer just a prisoner. He was the human who broke the cage, and the galaxy would never forget it.